Hey guys, welcome back to my next devlog. It's been actually quite a long time since the last time I did it. So probably over a week now, 9 days actually. So we've got quite a lot to catch up on, but we should be fine. It's just going to be, yeah. So what we last was on, we was the alpha release versus the finished alpha, and like how I compared that. So the game's come quite a long way since then. So we'll skip through that. So we've now got enemies that are cubes for the cube level. So where I was during my theory, when I was like, yes, so all my enemies, levels, and guns are gonna all sort of link together. Yeah, that's sort of where I was going with those. I call them cube monsters because they are quite literally just like the most low poly designs. So it's just a cube with a face, but they're angry faces, so you can see that they're bad. And obviously they got the health bar. They've changed since it now. They've only got 50 health now, not 100, because obviously they're smaller enemies. I didn't want you to feel like they're also not taking 50 damage anymore. I think the cube launcher still does that, I don't know. But it's the same AI system that I made for the goo spider. So I basically just copy and pasted the AI since I spent so much time on the first one, and just put the nav mesh boundary on the new map. So the nav mesh boundary is, in short terms, basically the area of which it can attack in, and it looks at you in. So it looks at the whole area that they can attack. It looks at the radius of where the enemy is, and if there's a line of sight between the enemy and the player, and then obviously moves to the player from there. That's how I made it anyway, because I didn't want you to be like around a corner and then they're following you through the corner and stuff. So, but I've given them 360-degree view, because otherwise you could just jump over the enemy and then they would just stand there and lose you instantly, and that obviously wasn't playable. So I changed it, so 360-degree view. There's a lot of enemies on the map now, you'll see in the upcoming, like today's work. But yeah, there's like, the whole point of these is that they do low damage, but they work in packs sort of thing. So there's like a lot going on at once, which I thought was okay for starter enemies, since low damage, low health. Yeah, sort of thing. So then obviously I moved on to developing the level a bit more, since I made the enemies for it. So I made the enemies, placed them in. I still got the fake collectible there. Obviously we've seen the cube. That's so bright. I'm glad I changed that. I forgot how bright that was. So we'll skip through this a little bit. So obviously the back wall is finished now, whereas before I'm pretty sure there was like a hole in the back of the map. So it's all done now. The door is all complete. The key works with the door, so obviously you can escape to the next level. There is the teleport. That does damage. You can't walk through the ink puddle anymore, to obviously prevent you from just walking to the door. There's still some sort of parkour to get to it. So you can see here on the blueprints, you got the sound that plays in the background, then you got your triggers and the teleports and whatnot. So it's developed quite a lot. Just basically just getting the back outlines done before I start working on the middle and working out again and adding more detail. This, I don't know, yeah, okay, this is the cube throwable. So you basically, I didn't want a weapon that you can just start with that's insanely overpowered, so I thought like just lobbing cubes at cubes would be cool. It's so bright, so I've turned that down now. You'll probably see in the later videos, but yeah, that's been turned down. And you just throw the cubes at them. It does quite low damage, like 15 damage I think. I'll probably end up turning it up, because there's quite a few enemies on the map now, and when they all herd together, you'll be there for too long. But then it also, the low damage persuades the players to grab the new weapons. Like there's a sword and there's the cube launcher as well, so the main gun that I made for cubes. But yeah, it was quite easy to code, to be honest. It was just grabbing, making sure the tags all lined up for the throw and the pickup. So yeah, so the next thing we've done was collectibles. So the whole point of how my game is supposed to link with the curiosity theme is that they're supposed to explore and collect all the collectibles and get the key, find the key, get the collectibles and escape onto the next level that's going to be even goofier than the last one, because I'm trying to fit in with the peculiar side of the curiosity word, which I did from my theory. So yeah, we've got collectibles. It really doesn't show much here. I just sort of walk into it, but in the corner it says I've collected them. So obviously that's a lot of UI design that I had to do as well. I don't know why I didn't show the UI in the blueprint, but I'll probably work on that. So that works, and obviously you can see here when you pick up the key, it changes to you have a key. So it works in conjunction with the collectibles, so you can just see everything that you've picked up for the minute anyway, until if I add more collectibles. So I also basically copied the Mario coin because it's simple and it looks good, but it now spins. It's not just a cube, it's not a really low poly cube, it's a coin that fits in with the coins down there, and it plays a little sound. It's really delayed in the video, but it's not that delayed in the actual game. But yeah, it's just a standard gold texture from Unreal because I haven't gotten around to making my own yet, but I made the coin myself in Blender. Obviously it was pretty simple, you just needed to use a boolean to get the depth in the coin. We've also updated the prompt message. When you walk over to it, now it says press E to equip. Obviously that was an issue before that I had, but after working with the UI for the collectibles, I was like, well actually I know how to do this now. So long story short, I just did it myself rather than following the tutorials online, because the tutorials online don't account for everything else that's already in my game, which I suppose is the downside to starting early and not following tutorials and having my own little goofy shortcuts. But it's honestly really simple now. I just need to copy and paste this little blueprint down here onto every thing, which I could probably turn into a tag feature anyway. So maybe I'll just add like 2 or 3 tags for every weapon I had in my game, so it just accounts for everything. But yeah, that's that. Then I worked on the melee design for the cube level. So it's more like a glitched sword. It's made purely out of cubes, but I wanted it to obviously still keep with the cube genre and stay true to it, I suppose. But yeah, there's some gameplay here for it. But it's still inspired by a katana because it's got the curve to it, and obviously it does not work at all here. It works really bad, but now I've updated it. It does swing a lot better and it does a lot more damage. You sort of just walk into the enemies and they just die now, which is helpful, which is why I'm trying to persuade the player to use the melee weapons, because they are actually balanced, because the damage you take is less than the damage you deal. So, except this enemy just didn't want to get hit. This is what I mean about the swinging wasn't that... Yeah, it wasn't great. But it's a lot smoother now. The sword is balanced, considering it's a melee weapon. That's what is the worst part about creating the swords and the katanas and stuff, is that I'm going to have to balance them out with the ranged weapons and account for the fire rate, etc, etc. So it's... Yeah, but the cubes one is fine anyway. So, and today's development is just more level design, so adding more depth, adding more features, finally finding a place for the key, putting more collectibles in, adding more enemies, making final tunes. To be honest, I reckon by tomorrow I could probably... I forgot to get the coin here, that's why I killed myself. But yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow I could probably just get this level finished. I could have got it done tonight, but it's getting late and I'm done for level design. I've done quite a bit today. So the centerpiece is all finished, and yeah, the video's on the channel anyway, but to quickly go through it, like there's a whole tower thing. It's like the Tower of Hell from like Roblox sort of thing. You just sort of have to scale the tower using different parkour. There's different ways to get onto it at different points as well, but there's like a main set route that I take, and you have to get the key, which is at the top. But yeah, there's just like all collectibles and all sorts around the map, which is what I need my game to have, because obviously it's the curiosity game, so you need to have different trial and errors and hide things for them to collect. But yeah, it's quite big. There's still a lot of empty space that I need to fill in, but that will be filled in. And I'm just trying to make parkour, like here I'm introducing the crouch feature. It's just trying to make parkour that actually uses all movement mechanics that I've put into my game, so making use of the wall running that I spent hours and hours working on and stuff, so I don't just completely disregard it and not make it useful in my game. But yeah, and then that's actually it for today. So yeah, a lot of progress since the last one, but just like little bits here and there, just more quality of life features to the game. More than anything, obviously Cubism's nearly finished the first levels, then I can start working on House, and then obviously we got 4-5 weeks until the end of production, so I'm hoping to get all the levels finished by then. I was getting a bit ambitious thinking I could make another level, but the amount of time I've put into Cubes, I feel like to make the other levels as match the quality of it, I feel like I should keep it to 6 if you include tutorial and alpha. But yeah, that is it, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Thanks.